Buenos dias, mon amis. So I woke up this morning to the best question. I woke up this morning and I had somebody had asked me, sent me the question, do you think out of thin air is a method? And by the way, Sabrina, thank you very much for this because it's going to be so much fun. I love playing with things that are magical, right? Out of thin air, mystical, stuff like that. So the first thing you're going to notice is the title of this video was I am out of thin air. And that's the bottom line. Remember, everything arises from you. And while that may sound kind of like, well, what do you mean by that? I always go back to the example of if you're dreaming, you're at night and you wake up from a dream and you're thinking, that was the weirdest dream. Where did that dream come from? Did it come from outside of you? No, it came from your mind, right? Everything in that dream, all the craziness, you flying, you being magical or whatever, came from within you. It came from within your imagination. So it is you. Well, your reality, quote unquote, all around you is the same. It's all come from within you. Every idea, every feeling, every thought, every vision, every imagination, everything. There is no such thing as, well, most of this came from me, but some of this didn't come from me. No, it all is a poof. It's you poofing. Okay. So that's all very fine and wonderful, but isn't out of thin air a method? Well, the easy answer is yes. Why, yes, it is. But the other answer is no, it's not. No, it's not a method. It is something you do all the time, constantly, without even realizing it. And I'll give you a great example. So I'm not sure where you're sitting listening to this, but let's assume you're sitting in your house. And outside somewhere is your car. There's your car. Or you could say somebody else's car. I don't care. But in your mind right now, imagine that car. What color is it? What kind of car is it? Where is it parked? See, what's really happening is in this moment, there's a void out there. There's nothing out there. But you are in creator mode. It is no different than when you're dreaming and you are creating with your imagination. You are currently creating with your imagination right now. That car, all memories associated with that car, such as, oh, I drove it yesterday to this place or whatever. It's all arising within your imagination right now. Poof, 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 poof. So if you were to get up right now, go over there, open the door. See, before you even open that door, you are creating what is outside that door. You have the memory and the feeling and everything that goes with it, that what's out there has always been there. But guys, there is nothing out there. It is a you could say it's a dark void, a white void, whatever you want. I don't care. But it is blank. There ain't nothing out there. And the minute you open that door, poof, 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 poof. All right. So that's the long and short of this. I am out of thin air. The entire method or even thing that is out of thin air is you. So you can play with it purposefully, or you can play with it subconsciously, like you do all the time. Every time you walk around a corner or are driving around a corner and you are in your mind assuming is just another word for poof. You are in creator mode when you are assuming. You are assuming the kitchen is over there and the refrigerator's on that side and the sink is on that side and the stove is over here. And this is what is in my refrigerator. And if I go to open it right now, I'm going to see those things. Now, you do that automatically without even thinking about it all the time. This is why I always say manifestation's not a thing. It's not a thing unless you want to play with it a thing. As something amazing that you got to learn how to do. Well, which is absolutely preposterous, because as I just explained to you, you do it all the time. Every single thing is a manifestation. The toilet in your bathroom, that is a manifestation. The towels hanging in your bathroom, those are manifestations. And you give yourself the manifestation of a memory that they've always been there. So it doesn't seem to be a big thing. Okay. So now let's go back to you wanting to play with out of thin air. You don't want to play with well, it's something I do automatically. No, I want to play with it purposefully. I want to be like I Dream of Jeannie, where you cross your arms over and you blink and poof, there it is. We love poof. Don't we love poof? I love poof. So, as you guys know, I play with poof all the time. I manifested my wallet out of thin air. I had forgotten it. And when I got to the store, I was like, oh no. And so then in that moment, I just imagined picking it up, because in my mind, I remembered leaving it. Now those are all manifestations, right? But we won't go there. We're gonna leapfrog over all that happy horse shit and go just straight to the easy and the fun, right? We want easy and fun. Okay, great. You have to tell yourself your life is easy and fun. You have to tell yourself you know how to do this, that you've always known how to do this, that this is simple, easy, and fun. So there you go, starting right there. But back to my wallet, I specifically remembered leaving it on the couch. So I changed that memory. While I was sitting there at the store, I chose to change the memory of picking it up. I distinctly could feel it. I could feel it, how cool the sides of it were, because it's like a vinyl. And I remember the weight of it. And see, you have your imaginary senses, and your imaginary senses are very strong. You can feel things. Like right now, if I told you to feel a tennis ball in your hand, you can feel it. You can feel the fuzziness of it. You can feel the squishiness of it, the weight of it, right? So you have imaginary senses. Now let's jump over this imaginary. That imaginary means it's not real. Imaginary is the birthplace of all creation. So if you're imagining something smells this way or feels this way or tastes this way, that's exactly what you are creating. Poof, 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 poof. All right. So I imagine my wallet, the weight of it, the feel of it. I imagine picking it up. And as I walked out the door, it was right there in my hand. I imagined setting it on the seat next to me, where it always sits, and where a minute before it wasn't. But I just ignored that, and I imagined setting it. So as soon as I imagined all that, then I reached over and poof, there it was. Now, in that moment, I went from poof to this. Yes, I did it. I did it. And bottom line, isn't this what we're trying to get to? When we're asking these questions, when we ask all these fancy questions about relationships and weight and money and success and all of that, isn't this what we're trying to get to? So my advice in this long explanation, which can be a very long video if I let it, is just leapfrog over all the methods and the techniques and all the stuff going on in your mind, including the void and all that stuff I was talking about a minute ago. Just leapfrog over all that and just go straight to this. Just go straight to yes. Now, what I love about this is I love teenies. Teenies are my happy place, little teenies. That's why I love my grandbabies so much. I love teenies. But what I really love about this is I always talk about sandboxes, that everything we play in, these methods, these techniques, or what I call the dog and pony show, are just sandboxes. They're just sandboxes that you, the amazing creator you are playing in. You get to play in so many sandboxes, but at some point you get out and you're like done with it. But the reason I love this is because I always say sandboxes, and obviously this little munchkin has been eating sand. And look at what's in his little fist. When you're fist pumping and saying, yes, yeah, okay, that's what's going on here. But I love that he's just got a little fistful of sand. When I was little, I used to eat sand too. It was the best. It was crunchy. So you can play in the long game, the sandbox of methods, and there's a better way to do it. And I don't have it, so I have to find it. But you can play there, absolutely. And there's nothing that makes you less of a god. In fact, if anything, I think that's even more of a god, because as a god, you already know how to do all this. And you're right now playing in less than, you're playing small. How cool. How awesome. You get to do that. You get to do that because you can, because you motherfucking can. Or you could just leapfrog over all those sandboxes and just go straight to this. Go straight to, yes, I did it. Yes, I figured it out. Yes, I gave myself the answer. And when you wake up in the middle of the night, you could just sit here and say this over and over. Yes. And just feel it. Jacuzzi on into the feeling of yes. Every time I say that right now, I'm doing the little fist pump. I love it. It is that simple, guys. It is that easy. So a lot of times when you're asking a question, ask yourself, what is the feeling I'm shooting for here? What is the feeling? So if you've lost your keys and you're desperately walking around trying to find your keys and you just can't let go of the fact that my keys are lost, the I am lost energy, my thing would be just stop, take a breath, and usher in the yes, I found it. I do that all the time. Actually, what I do is I usher in my fairy, Alice. Now, do I really believe I have a fairy that finds anything that is lost? No. It's just a way of shifting the energy, the state, right? The state of being, the I am. You know, in one moment, you're like, I am searching for something that is lost. That is a completely different state than the state of I am found. I am yes. And so sometimes I can't always shift states very well. So I use a fairy, and that works for me. And you got to find what works for you. Now, that's again a whole nother sandbox. That's a sandbox of playing small. So what? It's awesome. You get to do it. So in a previous video, I was talking about I am chaos. That's what this is about. That's what this is all about. You are everything. You are the lost and the found. You are the small and the enormous, the colossal. Let's go big. Colossal. You are the sad and the joyful. You are it all. And the more you can make peace with it all, the more you get to move into the space of yes. The more you're going to find the yes, because yes isn't within the lost and the meek and all of that, right? I mean, you sure as hell can find it, because you can do anything. And just now, as I said that, I'm sure your part of you was going, yeah, well, wait a minute, I can do it. Yeah, you can. But you also get to just leapfrog over all this happy shit and go straight to super poofer. There you are. That's you. You are the super poofer, because you when you were a little kid, like on the previous picture, when you were that little guy, you were the super poofer. You knew you could poof. You could magically poof anything you needed, anything you wanted out of thin air. It didn't occur to you that that wasn't a thing. You got to either play there with your friends and you called it playing house, or you got to imagine it in your mind. And the coolest thing is your entire world was so simple, easy, and fun. So simple, easy, and fun. When you were here, you were so simple, easy, and fun. Everything was yes. Everything was yes. And even when it was a no, you found the yes within no. You were and still are the super poofer. I had to add the little ER there. That's you, super poofer. So congratulations, because you poofed this video, this whole video answering a question. This whole thing you manifested right now out of the void, and you gave it memories that there was a question, and and you even given it memories that there was a beginning to this video. You are a super poofer or a super manifester. You are amazing, and you can only get more amazing. But my invitation to you today is just to find the feeling you're shooting for. Just leapfrog over all the methods, leapfrog over all the happy pony horse and show and all of that, and just go straight to being the super poofer that you are. You get to, right now, you get to go, I already know how to do it all. That's what yesterday's video was all about, is that you already know how to do all this. You get to go, I am it. I am the answer. I am the question and I am the answer. And I'm just going to leapfrog over the question, go straight to the answer. I am. I am it all. I get to know exactly how to do it at all times. I get to access the part of me that is a God, the part of me that is all that is. And I don't need to access it because it just is me. So let me go back to the story of the wallet. Now, there was the whole, yes, I did it. I got it. I found it. I successfully out of thin aired. Woohoo. And I've got so many stories. I mean, if you guys want to hear stories of out of thin air, sit back and relax. I got a ton of them. I've got amazing ones. I got ones of being in an airport and manifesting an entire desk full of people out of thin air. Like crazy, like turn around, it wasn't there, and then turn back and there it is. Like blew me away. I get, I've got more than enough stories, but you get to be the, I already know how to do it. Just like when you were a little kid. Okay, so I'm sorry, I kind of distracted myself. The story of the wallet. So there's all that feeling of yippee. But what if I gave myself the impression, which you do this all the time, what if I reached over and there was my wallet initially, and I didn't have to play in the sandbox of revision and, revising the whole thing and woo, poof, out of thin air, there it is. What if I just grabbed my wallet and went in? Well, there truly was no difference between just pulling into my parking spot, reaching over, grabbing my wallet and going in, and reaching over, there's no wallet. Oh my God, now I got to go through the whole, what do I do? What do I do? Oh, let's play with out of thin air. See, there's two totally different scenarios, but they truly were no different. They were just me playing with me. It was just me and me interacting. You can play in the level of being super poofer. Absolutely. You get to play in that sandbox. Super poofer. What else can I poof? Simply because it's fun. And that's the bottom line. So usher in that feeling of yes, and start seeing how your world is going to blow you away. This is one of my favorite spaces, the yes space. Last night I woke up, I think it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I just laid there playing with a feeling of, isn't it wonderful? Which really isn't any different, but isn't it wonderful? We get to give it its own little box. We get to feel the difference between isn't it wonderful and yes. We get to feel the difference between that. We get to feel the difference between yes and no. But if we want to, we can find the creator, the all that is, the operant power within it all. You get to be there because you decide it. And it's no more of a decision than reaching over, grabbing my wallet and going in the store. Never at any point of my reaching over, grabbing the wallet and going in the store am I thinking, okay, what's the method? What am I going to do? Oh, it's a void next to me. And now I've magically poofed my wallet there. You're not thinking those things. When you go in the bathroom and you go to the bathroom and then you reach over for the toilet paper, you're not going through any kind of a method. You're not going through any kind of a hoops and hacks to jump through. You're just doing it. Yep, there was that click, the snapping of the fingers. You're just doing it. You're not playing with yes. You're not doing it. You're not doing any of those things. But you get to play there if you want. You get to play in the it magically happens without me thinking about it, and you get to play in the I got to sit there and think about it and play and make it. One thing I want you to remember. If you're in the space of I need it, how do I do it? All you're doing is telling the universe and creating out of the voids is the I don't have it yet. And while you get to play that's a bad thing, remember in the previous video of I am chaos, that it's not a bad thing. Through the chaos, you get to astound yourself. And that's exactly what the space of playing small is. It's a place that can usher in astounding, like me playing with my wallet. If I had just reached over and grabbed my wallet and walked into the store, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as entertaining and astounding and holy shit, and me getting to play with this right here. Yes. So you can sit here and you can see that, oh, playing in I don't have is a bad thing. But my thing is this, that is where the astounding is. That is where the fun is. While I very much love it when everything flows perfectly and I don't have to think about manifesting and stuff like that, it's fun. It is fun to play in the chaos. It is absolutely a kick-ass place. So play in both. Wrap your arms enormously around it all because it is all you. And that's not right or wrong or good or bad, but you get to play there. And that can be a lot of fun too. All right, guys, take care. Let me know what you think. Put all your wonderful comments in the comment section below that you just manifested. You just poofed, that little super poofer that you are. Love you guys.